Adolescence. Detective Inspector Luke Bascom and Detective Sergeant Misha Frank lead a police raid at the home of the Miller family. Father Eddie, Mother Manda, daughter Lisa, and 13-year-old son Jamie. They arrest Jamie on suspicion of murder and take him to the nearby police station. A tearful Jamie professes his innocence as he is processed and taken to a detention cell while his family arrives at the station. Eddie agrees to be Jamie's appropriate adult and accompany him as he is searched and questioned. Eddie privately asks Jamie whether he has committed the crime and believes his denial. Barlow, the solicitor appointed to represent Jamie, arrives and advises Jamie not to respond to questions about the previous night. During Jamie's formal interview, Bascom and Frank reveal that Jamie has made several sexually explicit comments about female models on Instagram. He is then questioned about his classmate, Katie Leonard, whose murdered body was found in a car park the night before. Bascom plays CCTV footage of Jamie stabbing Katie to death before terminating the interview. Jamie and Eddie weep in the interrogation room. Eddie briefly recoils when Jamie touches him before they tightly embrace. 3 days after the murder, Bascom and Frank visit Jamie's secondary school to speak to Jamie and Katie's classmates, hoping to learn Jamie's motive and the location of the murder weapon. Katie's best friend Jade is especially upset by the murder and sardonically insults the officers. She later assaults Jamie's friend Ryan, accusing him of getting Katie killed. When Bascom and Frank interview Ryan, he is initially cooperative, but soon turns evasive, leaving the room when the murder weapon is mentioned. Bascom's estranged son Adam, a student at the school, informs his father that Katie replied to Jamie's Instagram comments of models using emoji language to accuse him of being an incel, and Bascom wonders if there was a cyberbullying campaign against Jamie. As Bascom and Frank attempt to question Ryan again, he flees through a window, and Bascom chases him out of the school. When Ryan is caught, he reveals that the knife belonged to him. He and another friend, Tommy, had given Jamie the knife thinking he would use it to intimidate Katie into retracting the Instagram replies. Ryan is arrested for conspiracy to murder. Eddie visits the site of Katie's murder to leave flowers in remembrance. 7 months after the murder, forensic psychologist Bryony Ariston meets with Jamie at a youth detention facility to prepare a pretrial report on his mental capacity. Bryony assures Jamie that her only goal is to evaluate his understanding of the circumstances surrounding the case, not the case itself. Jamie, however, engages in a tenuously gripped game of one-upmanship. Bryony questions Jamie about his attitude towards masculinity, women, and himself. Bryony recalls Jamie had said he and his friends had been bullied at school. Jamie recounts that Katie had sent a topless photo to a classmate she was attracted to, and that boy spread it around the school without her consent. This hurt Katie, and Jamie asked Katie out, figuring she would be emotionally vulnerable and thus more likely to accept. She rebuffed him and proceeded to leave insulting comments on his Instagram page. Throughout the interview, Jamie's mood fluctuates between friendly and aggressive. This includes several outbursts of anger, the admission he was tempted to grope Katie during the confrontation, and an accidental confession to the murder. After Bryony informs Jamie that this session is their last, he demands to know if she likes him personally, but she refuses to answer, further agitating Jamie. The security guard is forced to drag Jamie out of the interview room, leaving Bryony visibly shaken. A year after the murder, the Millers have made attempts to return to normality as Jamie awaits trial. On Eddie's 50th birthday, his van is spray-painted by teenagers that attend Jamie's school. Eddie plans to take Manda and Lisa to the cinema later that day to lighten the mood, but they first go to a hardware store to buy something to remove the paint from the van. There, Eddie is further distressed by an employee recognizing him and awkwardly expressing support for Jamie. Eddie buys some paint to recoat the van. Outside, he spots the teens who tag the van and angrily threatens them before throwing the contents of the can of paint on his van out of anger. On the drive home, Jamie calls and announces his plan to plead guilty. At the house, Eddie and Manda come to terms with Jamie's predicament, blaming themselves for not paying attention to his online radicalization. Alone, Eddie breaks down on Jamie's bed. He tucks in a teddy bear, kisses its head, and apologizes to Jamie for not doing better before joining his family.